Have you received such documents, Tony? What can you tell us about this matter?
I've been informed by Mr. Paul Riker that an appeal was in fact received yesterday, and he intends to send it to the Prime Minister and the rest of us on the legal team in Antigua and Barbuda, because I'm the lead counsel in Antigua as opposed to in the United States. He'll be sending that to us very shortly. And I, of course, immediately asked him for his professional opinion on the question of prospects of success. And his response to me was they don't have a chance of winning that matter at all because the judge's ruling on the subpoenas, watching the subpoenas, was crystal clear. And I thanked him for that, and he says he's going to send us the documents later today. Then this is just another part of the campaign to seek to discredit the government and the Prime Minister in relation to the Alfa Nero. I think by now it should be clear in everybody's mind that there's no wrongdoing, no misconduct, no corruption, no theft of funds took place in relation to the sale of the Alfa Nero. I mean, the mere fact that you have to consider that we had to brief the Americans for their approval as to who was going to buy it, to suggest that we could then siphon off money is really a dangerous misrepresentation of what actually happened.
My question is, Tony, the cost to the government, because this matter has incurred hundreds of thousands of dollars already. Now there's an appeal. We're going back to the courts.
Well, my view is very clear. This campaign is to discredit the Prime Minister and the government and the state of Antigua and Barbuda. I have no issues whatsoever with Cabinet deciding to pay the legal fees of the Prime Minister, because he's not only defending his reputation, he's defending the reputation of a number of persons in Antigua and Barbuda, including senior public officers like the Accountant General and the Financial Secretary and the other institutions. So I have no issue with the Cabinet agreeing to pay the fees of the Prime Minister in defense of the nation, in defense of his own reputation, and in defense of the transaction with Alfa Nero. I don't have an issue at all. But I will add that I did ask the American lawyer if there's any legal means by which we can claim costs back on an indemnity basis or any other basis to recover the cost being spent by not just the Prime Minister, but by Western Resort, but not by the state of Antigua only, but by Western Resort. And he promised me to look into it, and I'll follow up with him. Because in these islands, if you come with a frivolous matter, you can be condemned in costs. So if there's a similar principle in the United States, clearly we intend to follow that.
How do you see this matter playing out? As a very experienced attorney yourself who've dealt with matters of appeal, how do you see this Alfa Nero matter playing out at the end?
Well, I take the advice of the American lawyer that there's no chance of winning that appeal. So I start on that premise. But then when you look at how this thing started initially, with investigators coming here and talking to politicians in the opposition, and one of the counsel attacking the Prime Minister's reputation on Facebook, which provoked a response or responses from the Prime Minister. You could smell the political campaign or the attempt to undermine the campaign undermine the integrity of the Prime Minister on matters which make no sense to me, because I have read the investigators' report that was put to the American court. And there's nothing to suggest, no factual basis. In fact, there's a lot of misinformation in it. I find that nauseating, disheartening, and disrespectful, because this collaboration that some politicians seem to have or want to have, either in propagating or creating or giving misinformation to external persons who are seeking to embarrass the government, is something that I don't particularly like at all.
So the fight goes on?
The fight goes on. But the fight has started off on the good foot, because the judge, in the exercise of his judicial discretion, granted the motion to squash all of the subpoenas. And in a situation, if this had occurred in the jurisdiction of Antigua and Barbuda, it would be extraordinarily difficult to get past the judicial exercise of discretion that the judge exercised. So I'm assuming the United States Supreme Courts are governed by the same rules of procedure, similar rules of procedure and fairness as we have here.